Hey, what's up, guys? I am talking to you from the past, believe it or not. I'm already thinking about the fact that I am going to be speaking in front of people, revealing things that I've learned along the way. This video will not be perfect, as most of my videos aren't. I currently have been, posting videos on YouTube, and I didn't really have a direction of what I wanted to talk to the camera or you guys about, but I think I found it. And I want to share that with you. Today is February 8th. It's about, well, not about, it is 11:58 in the morning. It's a Sunday morning, 2026, and this is about trading. All right, and if you are excited to hear about trading, and training, because honestly, you've got to train. You've got to train your mind. You've got to. There's so many things that have to be trained before you go into trading, and that is one of the things that I am focused on as someone who hasn't earned a dollar in trading, in day trading. I've been watching some videos, and what I've decided after talking to somebody who's really close to me, what I've decided is to share my journey. To share what it looks like from the ground up. There's been plenty of things that I've started in my life that I have not finished, and that's been like the only consistent thing that I've done in my life is be inconsistent. I've consistently been inconsistent, and if you can relate with that, you don't have to say anything, but you could feel that. You could look at that and say, okay, so it's not just me. No, it's not just you. It's not just you. If you find yourself in this audience, if you find yourself in this tribe, if you find yourself in this community, right, then you know that we don't believe in judging one another. We you don't we don't in this tribe, in this community, in this environment, we don't look at each other and say you coulda, shoulda, woulda. You are exactly where you need to be. You're exactly where you need to be. Don't look to the past and say I should have done this, I should have done that. And I'm telling you that from experience. To this day, I still struggle with that. To this day, to this day, I still struggle with that. And it doesn't serve you well. It doesn't do anything for your mental. And so oftentimes I've talked about in my videos, to not be your own worst enemy, to actually be kind to yourself, to be your own best friend. A lot of times we look around in our life and we wonder, like, why isn't anybody else being with me the way I am with them? Why don't I have someone in my life, or multiple someones in my life, who operate at the same frequency and at the same level as I do? I'm a giver. I've got a big heart. I check in on people. I ask how they're doing. I show genuine interest, genuine concern. Where is that for me, right? And like, if you go through those questions in your mind, then again, you find yourself in a tribe, in a community, in an environment, in an audience that relates with you. You could look to the left, you could look to the right. You're probably sitting next to someone, or you've got someone in your proximity who feels the same way. And so we're all in this together. We're all on this journey. We're all on this path together. Now, what is that path, right? The path is financial freedom. The path is to get free from what we've been taught, right? And what is it that we've been taught? I mean, I'm not going to go into detail. You should kind of know. But what you've been taught is you go to school, you get a degree, you work for somebody else for 40 years, you clock in, you clock out, you get an hour lunch, you barely have enough energy to go out and find someone to build a life with. And if you find somebody to build a life with, you barely have enough time and energy to give to them. So the relationship suffers. I'm talking from experience. Because survival mode will kill everything in your life. Survival mode is going to kill everything in your life. So there's a thought that I want to communicate, and I'll come back to survival mode. There's this course that I had taken years ago by Dave Ramsey. If you don't know Dave Ramsey, just go look him up. One of the things that he talks about is how if you find yourself in debt, or if you find yourself in survival mode, like I just said, your intention, your job, your mission, your focus should be to absolutely, and your goal, your mission should absolutely be to get out of that situation as quickly as possible, right? Sorry for the interruptions. I've been listening to J. Cole's new album, And this is going to be an unedited video because, let's go with the imperfections. Let's welcome the imperfections. Why does everything need to be tied up in a pretty looking bow, right? We've been sold this idea that everything needs to be pretty, that everything needs to be structured, that everything needs to be organized. And it doesn't. There are things that absolutely need to be organized. I don't know if you could see everything behind me, whether you consider that to be organized or not. I don't really care what what you think about it. That's another thing you'll find in this community. You really shouldn't care what others think about you, because at the end of the day, they're not going to help you with your trades. They're not going to help you with your bills. They're not going to help you with your life. If you're in survival mode, you're not going to be helped out unless you have some real ones in your life. That's another topic for another day. But you want to get out of survival mode as quickly as possible. Now, I'm talking to you as if I've already made it. I have not. Trust me, I have not. As far as personal details are concerned, and everything else that has to do with me sharing life and me sharing what I'm going to be sharing with you guys, it is not going to be polished. It's not going to be pretty. It's all just going to be raw. I really want to just let you in, regardless of where you find yourself. You could be a beginner, you could be intermediary, you could be an expert. I mean, whatever. I don't know who this is going to reach. I don't know who this is going to touch. But I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to put it out there because a lot of people find themselves in the position I find myself in, and they think I'm alone. You're not. You're not. I'm here with you. I'm in the trenches. And if you're in the trenches, you don't want to be in the trenches. You want to get out. You want to get out of those trenches as fast as humanly possible. So let's do it, right? Right now I'm going to show you a little bit around my my cave. I'm going to just call it my cave, and I am recording this with I've got my monitors set up back there. And you might not be in this kind of position where, you have multiple monitors and things of that nature. Just start. Yes, I blow my nose with toilet paper. I don't use tissues. I should use tissues, but I blow my nose with toilet paper. So that's why you see toilet paper right there. I'm gonna leave it in view. What I'm trying to say is, regardless of where you find yourself, you can start with what you've got. You can start with a phone. Make it work is what I'm trying to say. Make it work. If you're gonna find excuses for it not to work, you're right. If you crush the excuses and you kick down the walls that are trying to keep you back from what you're trying to accomplish, you're also right. At the end of the day, you're gonna determine what you want your life to look like, and you have nobody else to blame but you. You have no one to blame but you. Think about that for a second. You could look at your parents and say, "Oh, I didn't have the best upbringing." Sure, you're right. Now, let that carry on for the rest of your life. Just go ahead and roll on with the fact that your life is just a culmination of your parents' choices. I'm going to pause on J. Cole for a minute. Your life is a culmination of your parents' choices, right? It's their fault. It's their fault you're here. It's their fault you have breath in your lungs. It's their fault. Everything is their fault, right? Victim mentality is not something you're going to find here. Victim mentality is something that's going to keep you stuck. And if you got victim mentality, please stop the video, get away from this community. If you are in the audience, I'm filming this as if I'm going to be talking to people in the future about my journey from here to there. And so if you find yourself with this victim mentality, listen, if you're in here, boo-hoo, woe is me, please get out. Please get out. We don't need that here. Now, I'm only saying get out to the people who want to hold on to that mentality, okay? If you recognize that that's part of your mentality and you want to do something to change it, stay. This is the place to stay. This is the place to make it work, because you've got people in arms. You've got brothers and sisters in arms who are all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to achieve that financial freedom so you can go and provide for the people you care about, and you can go ahead and have some experiences in this life before you die. Because another thing that you're going to find in this community is that we talk about time a lot. Time is moving by like nobody's business. Time is moving on. Time doesn't have time to wait for you. So time is going to continue to go. Time is going to continue to go. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with time? Are you going to continue to let this victim mentality and this excuse making behavior that you've got? And listen, yes, I'm talking to you, but I am talking to you as if I am talking to myself. A lot of these things that I'm telling you are things that I've had to battle with, that I still battle with, that I still fight. The reason why I'm still in the fight is because I am not allowing the victim mentality to take precedence. I'm allowing the victim mentality to submit to the champion mentality that I am developing. Do I have the champion mentality 100% that I want? Absolutely not. I don't. But I know where I find myself. Another thing that you're going to be finding in this community, in this tribe, in this audience, in this journey, whatever the case may be, is accountability. You need self-accountability. You need self-regulation. A lot of the things that have to do with trading, from what I'm finding, is mindset. You know, if you don't have the right mindset, if the psychology, if your head game, oh my gosh, pause, right? If your mental is not right, nothing's going to go right. Nothing's going to go right. Check your mental first before you even think about making or losing a dollar in the market. Now, another thing that you need to kind of keep in mind as you transition from this mentality to the mentality you need is you got to start using the verbiage, right? Like, I'm not an expert. Again, I repeat, I have not made a dollar on the market yet. But I'm beginning to use these concepts that I'm learning about because not oftentimes, it's actually been proven, and I don't have the case studies. You can go and study it for yourself. But from what I've read, things that you learn stay with you better when you teach them to someone else or when you start implementing them as soon as you learn them. And so the concepts that I'm learning, I am going to be talking about them as if I'm actually trading, which I am not. But in order to be something, you've got to move, act, think, speak as if you are that something that you're looking to become. Because if you do not change you can't change your speech until you change this thing here. You got to change this thing here. All the greats have said it. It all starts in the mind. I'm not going to be speaking or saying anything that you probably haven't heard of a million times before. But I'll repeat it again and again because repetition is unfortunately the way that we learn. You know, you've got people out there who are going to they're going to learn things the first go around, maybe the second go around, who knows. But for people like me, maybe people like you need the same thing repeated maybe 3 or 4 times before you actually get it. Because when it comes to trading, there's a lot of information. It's a new language that you're learning. It's something that is not common for the common mind. We aren't taught these things. These things, for the most part, for a really long time, up until recently, have been kept hidden from the majority of minorities. Black, Hispanic, Asian, you name it. This isn't a race thing. I'm not trying to get into any of the politics about, what's been guarded by a particular race and it's not about that. It's not about that at all. We're all in this journey of achieving freedom, but we all come from different backgrounds, which means we all have different beliefs. And your belief is not greater than anybody else's belief. We don't look down, we don't shun, we don't criticize, we don't condemn, we don't look at somebody else's belief system and say you're wrong, unless it comes to trading. Unless it comes to trading, you've got to have an open mindset when it comes to being corrected in this game of trading. This is probably the only time in this community that you're going to be corrected or challenged to think differently or to believe differently. When it comes to what you believe personally in the spiritual world and how you want to operate with your family and you've got a pastor, you've got all those other sources, right? If you've got marital issues, you've got to go and find a family therapist or counselor, okay? This is specifically for trading. That is it. Another point to touch on, this is a long video, and maybe it should be a long video. Because this is a heart to heart. This is going to be a I got the Punisher on. I'm about to punish the charts, but I could be a little corny at times in my attempt to kind of break through, but my corniness sometimes gets me off track and I lose the train of thought. So I'm going to try to stay focused. One of the things that I wanted to talk about and make sure that we focus on and think about when it comes to this game called trading, I'm going to call it a game. I'm going to call it a game. Some people might not call it a game. You know, I don't really care. I have a specific way of thinking about things, and you know, unless it's wrong, I'm just gonna think about the things that I think about the way that I think about them, right? Until something new is introduced. But to stay on track, in order to become great at something, you must obsess. You must obsess. And when you have obsession over something, everything else in your life is meant to surround, everything else in your life is meant to orbit around that obsession. What you eat, what you think, what you speak, the conversations you have, all of it needs to be around that obsession. Now, granted, obsession is something that must be checked. I'm not saying, you know, out of 24 hours, you need to be studying charts and marking up charts and paper trading and all these other things for 23 hours of the 24 days. No, no, no. Life is about balance. Life is about balance. Finding balance in life is completely essential and entirely crucial if you're going to be successful in anything you do. You need to break away from the studying. You need to break away from everything and anything that has to do with trading. You need to break away from it for a little bit because it is going to be a lot. You're going to have to step away and let the information that you're consuming settle and digest. Think about working out, which I have not been as consistent as I want to be. But in keeping with the subject, think about working out. When you go work out, you're not working out for 8 hours a day, right? You'll go work out, and if it's a good workout, you're working out for maybe 30 minutes to an hour, right? Some people work out more. You got to find just what works for you, right? The point is, you're not spending all your time in the gym, right? There are other elements that supplement going to the gym, like your diet, your rest, and your sleep. Those three things revolve around working out. Just like working out also revolves around your diet, just like your diet revolves around your sleep. Like everything is a balance. But what is the object of the obsession when talking about that? Well, to have a great optimal performing and looking body, right? The reason why I say it the way I say it is because first and foremost, you should want to feel good in your body before you even think about looking good for others, right? The looking good for others is part of it, right? Because we all want to be perceived a certain way. Sure, that's important. It's not that it's not important. It has its place. But think about the fact that you're the only one living in your body. You're the only one living in your world, you're the only one in your orbit. You're the only one in your universe, and you're sharing it with everybody else. So how do you feel in your body? What are you consuming? All of these things have a hand. Now, I know I'm kind of going another direction, but what I'm trying to say is the correlation between getting rest because you've worked out, it's just as important as taking in information. When you're taking in information, what you're doing is you're working your brain muscles. You're working your muscle, your brain muscle, your money-making muscle. You're working it out. You need to pull away. So find time to pull away. Create a schedule, which I might actually make another video on how to create a schedule and what you should be learning and all this other stuff as I go on, right? I don't have a structure for this yet. This is the very first video on this path that I am taking. And I wanted to document this because I know that as people continue to progress in life, the stock market isn't going anywhere. Crypto isn't going anywhere. These things are here to stay. People are coming in and out of the market all the time. So don't think that you're too late to the game. That's something that I was struggling with. Oh man, how am I possibly going to get into the market? It's probably saturated. It doesn't work that way. If you are having any doubt, reservation, hesitation about getting into day trading, just listen to me for just one thing. I'm so sorry, just one thing. Put that doubt to the side. Don't even think about it for a minute. You don't have enough information to make a decision if you're watching this video. This is probably going to be the video that I post up on the introductory YouTube page, so you might be watching that there. And again, this is not a polished video. This is going to be a video that I am saying what I am talking to you about from here on out. I'm not going to take down the other videos that I've posted about, just because it's good to see where one comes from, right? I started this YouTube channel journey thing thinking to myself, what am I going to talk about? And you have no idea how many times I changed up the bio, the description, and all this other stuff until I found trading. Now, granted, trading wasn't introduced to me just a day or two ago. Trading was first introduced to me when I was 19 years old. Okay? 19 years old. I'm going to go into a little bit of history here with you. And this video is definitely going to be a video that I would probably, in the beginning of it, will say some sort of message among the lines of, you might want to take this video in chunks. All right. So when it comes to my exposure or my experience with day trading and trading in general, I was 19 years old when a work friend presented it to me. And I read through a book. I can't remember the book, but I read through the book and I put the book down after studying it for, I don't know, maybe it was probably like 3 or 4 days. I was thinking to myself, like, I don't understand none of this shit. The wick, the candle, the pips and what? I didn't know what I was looking at. And the book was very basic and fundamental. That wasn't the time for me to get in. I fully acknowledge the fact that wasn't the time for me to get in. There were things that I was meant to go through in my life before I could achieve financial freedom in order to appreciate financial freedom. And that's what you've got to think about. You've got to think about the fact that the challenges and the obstacles that you've gone through in your life, they're only meant to sweeten the sauce you're going to eat your chicken with in the future. Because the struggle and the resistance and the come up, the fight, the struggle, that is necessary for you to be able to take a deep breath into your lungs and breathe out a sigh of pleasure. As weird as that sounds, right? But what I'm trying to say is, when you're finally able to, you have no financial worries anymore. You can breathe, you can relax your shoulders a bit. You can unwind. Because all you've known is this resistance, this struggle from block to block, from chapter to chapter to chapter. Struggle, resistance, challenge. It's all you've known. And you're tired, and you're sick, and you're pissed, and you're angry, and you wonder why, and you stay up at night, and you wake up with panic and anxiety in the morning. Trust me. Trust me. I've been through it. I've been through it. It's not easy. It's probably one of the hardest things that you can experience in this life, is not knowing how you're going to make it out of whatever it is you find yourself in. Who's going to be there? How am I going to do it? Who can help? Where's the backup? Where's support? This life is real. And if you do not get real along with it, it'll show you just how real it is. Heartache. Great teacher. But you don't need to learn through heartache. I mean, granted, regardless of how many wonderful decisions, wonderful trades you make, wonderful buys, wonderful sells, whatever it is that is wonderful, it does not compare this is the problem. Like, my mind goes in so many different directions. I want to tell you so many different things, and I'm sorry. You have to understand that whatever dark hole, whatever dark chasm, whatever abyss you've been living in, it's not meant for you to stay there. It's not meant for it to be homeroom forever. You're meant to graduate from there. You're meant to stay there in the dark so long to where you grow so uncomfortable with it that you're like, I gotta have some light. I gotta have some light. Now, when you think about these trees and you think about plants and things of that nature, they start off with like these, you put the seed. The seed needs to be in the dark. The darkness is necessary. Darkness is necessary. You put the seed in the ground, it's in there for, God knows how long. But then it sprouts, and it sprouts because it first went down. So if you find yourself in a place of complete darkness, you don't know where the next meal is going to come from. You don't know how you're going to pay your cell phone bill. You don't know how you're going to pay the mortgage or rent or any number of things. You don't have any savings. There could be a medical emergency that happens in the next week or two that puts you thousands of dollars in. I'm telling you, life is real. If you find yourself in that dark space, take a moment, get away from all of the distractions. Even before you jump into trading, get away from everything and look around. Look around in your darkness. Look around in your darkness. What do you see? I mean, if you're in the darkness, you don't see, but it's an analogy. You can see. What I'm saying is, what do you observe about being in the dark for this long? What choices are you making? What decisions have you made? What words are you using? What's your mindset? What's your mentality? Who are you around? What conversations are you having? It's you. It's nobody else. It's you, right? It's you. It's always going to be you. And so if you find yourself here in this journey, working alongside with me, trying to achieve that dream, trying to achieve that goal, trying to find a way out of this darkness, you first need to address what's kept you in the darkness. You first need to address what's in there. And by addressing those things, you're going deeper into the darkness, which is fine. Sometimes you need to go deeper because in order for that seed to grow, it needs to develop roots. How are you developing your roots? How are you developing your roots? Think about that. What is it that, if you are not cautious, if you are not careful with the conversations that you are having with the people around you, you will be distracted. Whatever goals you've got are going to be pulled to the side by any number of demands. That's how life works. But again, it goes back to obsession, like I was talking about before. Because if you get obsessed, guess what? It doesn't matter what the distractions are. Your obsession's going to constantly be in your brain. There's not going to be a way for you to get away from it, right? So if I could leave you with a couple of things, maybe this video should just maybe be 30 minutes long. It's about 27 minutes now, but I'm going to leave you with a couple of things. Number one, look at your darkness. Look at where you find yourself. Look at your circumstances. Check your mentality out. Those things that you've got to really resolve within yourself, why your situation is the way that it is right now. As many things you can point the finger at and say it's because of that, it's because of this, I'm the wrong race, I'm the wrong gender, I'm the wrong this, I'm the wrong that. Shut up. Please, right? Be quiet. Don't be talking to anybody else about why, ooh, little old you. Complain to yourself. Vent to you. Because at the end of the day, if you just continuously say all of those things, what's ultimately happening here is you're putting out energy that's going to make it easy for people to not want to be around you. I've experienced that. Nobody wants to be around somebody who's always like, oh. Don't be that person. And if you're going to be that person do it by yourself. Cry to yourself. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have people in your life that you can communicate your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions to. We all need that support, right? We were all created for this. That's my belief. We were created, not no Big Bang thing. I'll talk about that some other time, but we were all created for community. That's the reason why we're all here, right? We're all trying to find people to connect with, relate with, and find meaningful attachments to, right? Meaningful, beneficial, constructive attachments to, right? Because there are other attachments that aren't really all that healthy for us. So that's number one, address your darkness. And then number two would be to create that healthy obsession, right? And I think you can do that simultaneously. Address your darkness, create an obsession. Address your darkness, create an obsession. Now, if you find yourself on this channel, in order for me to finish this thought, create an obsession. The create an obsession needs to be create an obsession about learning trading, learning the stock market, learning crypto, learning strategies, learning the vocabulary, learning the lingo, learning trading. As you learn trading, you will learn about yourself. It'll challenge you in ways, from what I've heard. I'm not speaking on that from experience because, again, I haven't made a single dollar on this. But as you address your darkness and create this obsession, this chasm between the darkness and the obsession, it will soon close the gap. And this gap that you find yourself in eventually after you've made some money and you've addressed your darkness and all this other stuff, you're going to find this gap where you do not want to live outside of. You're going to create a life for yourself that is meaningful, first and foremost, to you, meaningful to those around you. And depending on your faith, you can then carry that conversation on in another way. But those are the two things I want to leave you with. And I'm already at 31 minutes. Address your darkness, create your obsession. As you do those things simultaneously, if you want to do those things simultaneously, because the beautiful thing about life is that you can do whatever the hell you want. So if you want to create create your darkness and address your obsession. If you want to address your darkness first before you even think about creating an obsession about trading, do that. If you want to create an obsession before you address your darkness, do that too. Whatever. This is fluid. This is flexible. This is your path. This is your journey. There's no particular way on how to go about doing life. Not just trading, but life. Ultimately, this video is revealing to me that what I want to talk about on this YouTube channel journey thing, as I document my journey from $0 in the market to millionaire status, because that is what I'm going to be going after. And I want to do it in 18 months. I want to do it in 18 months. So I think it's possible now that AI is here and AI is here to stay. I think it's very possible if you stay informed and if you move with a sense of urgency. So if and that brings up another point. I'm sorry that I'm going a little longer. Maybe you'll forgive me. Maybe you'll show me some grace. I appreciate it. But let's say you address your darkness first and you're at a place where you've addressed your darkness enough and you're creating an obsession. When you create this obsession, you also want to create a sense of urgency, because you can be obsessed about something and not make a move, right? You can do the overanalyzing, you can do the overthinking, you can do the overstudying, you can do the over everything and then not make a single move. Right? So your obsession needs to drive you to action. Your obsession needs to drive you to move. Your obsession needs to drive you to do any particular thing that's going to move the needle forward for you in your life. So, welcome to the journey. Forgive me if I go off into topics that might not be about trading. I promise I'll always loop it back into trading. I might throw life lessons into trading, because I've always enjoyed talking to people about, where they find themselves and like offering up advice and wisdom. Not that I'm some sort of wisdom man, or I don't know what I'm trying to say. All I'm saying is I enjoy talking to people and helping out where I can. And for a while there, when I started this YouTube channel, I was thinking to myself, what kind of value can I bring to people? I mean, I see so many people talking about everything on YouTube. They're talking about everything on YouTube. And I think to myself, well, I mean, there's a lot of noise on YouTube. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of people just talking about anything and everything. I mean, you could talk about anything and everything now, right? If you don't have any real value to bring to people, and in my opinion, for those of you watching, you might understand and you might actually agree with this. The best value you can bring someone is teaching them how to make money so that they can go and fulfill their dreams. In another video, I'm going to explain why I believe that, and the person in my life who impacted me to such a degree that my mindset shifted to helping others as much as I enjoy helping others with whatever it is that I have. Because you don't need much to help others. You just need intention, hands, feet. You don't even need that. There's plenty. There's a motivational speaker that doesn't have legs and arms. I think he has like a little member, and he was born that way. And he's been able to inspire and motivate and encourage and empower so many people. So again, it's all mindset. As you embark on this journey and you think about what it is you want to get out of it, you should also be documenting your own journey. There's going to be people who are going to follow you who do not follow me. There's going to be people who follow me that won't follow you. Again, at the end of the day, if you're adding value, and hopefully you're watching this at 2x speed, because now you got 2x speed. I think that if you're a YouTube subscriber, member, whatever the case is, you can actually watch things at 4x speed. I don't know why someone would want to watch something at that fast of a pace, but whatever. Some people can hear really, really good. And some people talk really slow, and some people talk absolute garbage. So you want to listen to it as fast as possible so you can get to the real meat of the message, right? I think I'm going to stop rambling now, because I think that's what I'm doing. Welcome to the journey. This is the very first video. This is just a little taste of what's to come. I am going to be sharing my screen and sharing charts and sharing what I'm learning. And there's going to be videos where I'm just talking about what it is that I did or didn't do. And that is it. Welcome. We're going to create financial freedom. I'm still going to find a way how to end these videos in a positive, encouraging, uplifting way, because I believe in that. I believe that you should definitely always find a way to motivate, encourage, empower, strengthen those around you, because life is not just about you.